Good evening and welcome to the Car, Sim and Race Driver Show. And tonight we have a very, very special guest. And I have to say, in the build up to the show, we talked about things you could never talk about on TV. It is John Vawter from Vawter Racing. Good evening, John.
Hi, Hugh. How are you doing? I'm happy to be here, man.
I'm very well. I'm very happy to have you here as a guest on the Car, Sim and Race Driver Show. Now, we've been having lots of fun in the build-up to the chat. Yes. And I remember when I first saw one of your streams, and there you were, you had your vaping away, and I thought, there's a man who's very relaxed, who's nothing bothers this chap here at all. But I will start before I go over to all of the people in the chat who are, I know, bursting ready to ask you questions. And thanks to everyone that you've brought along here tonight. My Twitter feed was going crazy with all of the updates that were happening. But I will. That's John's studio. They're saying illusions shattered. It's from Matt Fox. But before we get into the questions from the chat, I will ask the question that I always ask every guest on the show. How did your sim racing love and affection for it, and how did you get started playing sim racing games? How did it all start?
Well, it all started on the Super NES. With a game called Mario Andretti IndyCar. That was the first game that really caught my attention. I played that. I completed that game. I beat it. And I just fell in love with racing at that point. A few years later, I had a Gateway computer. I don't know if you remember the Gateway.
I remember Gateway. Yeah.
I had a Gateway computer. And I came across a game called Toka Touring Car Championship.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
That game, I mean, it was everything to me. I played that game so much. And then Toka 2 came out, and I actually switched over to PlayStation again because I could play online with that game. So I used to play with guys from Europe. You know, we could play together online, and that was a great game. But then, sometimes life happens, Hugh. And I literally took a 22-year break after Toka 2. Didn't play.
That's how long ago it was. Toka 2 was brilliant.
Oh,
Toka 2 was so much fun.
It's a fantastic game. I loved that game. But yeah, I didn't really have a computer. I had a laptop, and life was going on, and I was doing all these things within the music industry and stuff. I really didn't have time. 2019 November, I had a medical issue, kind of put me on my butt a little bit, and I was on my PlayStation one day, and I seen a game called Project Cars 2. That looks fun. I'll download that. It was on sale, so I downloaded that and played the hell out of that. Then seen Assetto Corsa, the original, downloaded that, played the hell out of that. Ended up picking up a G29 and a Play Seat Challenge. Sat in that and raced on my G29 for a while, and then Assetto Corsa came out on the PlayStation, and I mean it was done after that. I was obsessed. So obsessed that I now have a PC, a really powerful PC, and I have a GT Omega Titan cockpit, a Fanatec CSL Elite. I mean, I am all in. This is basically all I do is sim race and stream and sim race and cook. You got to eat and vape.
Now that's fantastic. I was going to say, for Toka, did you ever play the single seaters? Because they used to have a kind of Formula Ford championship, and I had a great time on that.
Absolutely, I played Toka a lot. I mean, when I had it, it was my main game. I played it a lot, as much as I could. I loved that game.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. Well, it's I will ask a few questions later on, but there's already people wanting to ask questions straight away. And the first one is a big fan of yours, Mike Rogers Racing. Good to see you, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
And Mike is saying, before it disappears from my view here, what made you make the transition from PS5 to PC?
Everybody was telling me how much better the game was on PC. And I could imagine it would be better on PC because PCs are much more powerful than the PS5. But I was shocked at how much better it was. I literally tell people now that the PlayStation got half the game. I mean, it's half the graphics, half the feedback, half of everything. PC is the way to go. I mean, I wish all of the PlayStation people could get a PC and join us on the PC because it is absolutely amazing. But yeah, and plus I was having technical issues with the PlayStation. I was in I do some league racing. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I was getting disconnect during league races and stuff, and that's no way to be taken out of the race from a disconnect. So that really motivated me to get on PC.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, because the graphics are just so much better, so much clearer. And I just quite recently, within the last few months, got a PC and started getting it up and ready. So I started playing Assetto Corsa competition and other things. And I never thought I could actually put it all together because, the blurb of sim racing, when you talk to people and they say, oh yeah, you're going to have Discord, you're going to have this. And I'm like, what's Discord? I honestly thought it was some kind of Dyson Hoover. I had no idea what Discord was. And I remember asking Josh Martin in the build up to the show, I said, what's Discord? And he kind of looked at me as if, who is this? Who is this?
Right.
But of course, no, it was, I never, and it's like almost like the Facebook for gamers. You can have your own channel, and it is so good for all of that. But no, you get so much more with the community on a PC than you will, I think, with a PS5 or even a PS4. I think there's so much more to do.
Yes, absolutely. The sim racing community has been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Now we've got a good comment here from Keith will own you. It's good to see you, Keith. I hope you're well.
Nice.
And here it says, you should steal Top Gear's move and have everyone on the show do a one-off lap and make a leaderboard. That is a good idea.
That is a great idea.
The only issue, I'm not sure how I use StreamYard for this, how I'd managed to somehow figure out we'd have to screen share your computer to show what you were doing, so that we could then show it to everybody and do a lap on a track somewhere and see how we go. But yeah, that is, if anyone has any idea how to bring that about, that would be great. I will go and that would be fantastic. And
I like that too. I like that too. One lap, one chance. That's fantastic.
And I might fill the faster drivers, all the like the Super GTs. I'll make sure their car runs on diesel, so everyone else's is on. So it smokes away. But there you go. Now we'll go on to a question from Matt Fox, who is going to be on the show a bit later on in September, I believe, the 23rd of September.
Oh, nice.
He says, is online racing a bit risky for someone who survived a heart attack? Oh my.
Yeah, that's true. I had a heart attack in November of 2019. I don't think it is risky. I think it's good to get my heart beating like that, get my heart, more strong. I mean, that was the problem with my heart. It wasn't strong enough, and it is a muscle. You got to work that thing just like any other muscle. So I think it's good for my heart. It gets it really pumping sometimes.
Because it does take a lot of concentration, isn't it? I mean, I find that afterwards you find that you're sweaty at the end of a big race because you feel like you've done a bit of a workout. Not that I'm overweight, but that you have done something in the last few hours when you've been racing, isn't it? Now we've got a very good question from Barry Evans. Barry says, "Why the Porsche?"
Because Porsche. I love the Porsche. Now, when I first got Assetto Corsa Competition, I drove the BMW for about 2 weeks, and I was pretty successful with the BMW. I like that car. And then one day I tried the Porsche, and I thought, this car is impossible to drive. It's got to be the toughest car in the game to drive. So the bar was set, and I have driven the Porsche literally every day since, over a year now, in the same car, only Porsche.
Yeah, because I've seen you do that, and it is tricky. I remember doing a race in the Porsche Super Cup, and I could barely keep that car in a straight line. I had a wonderful start, again, on one of Thea's streams where I overtook about 6 people. And I didn't listen to that voice that came through saying, mind the curbs, your tires are cold. And I thought, oh, fantastic. Why is everyone going so slowly? I thought, I'm the new Jim Clark. No, I just spun off and took out a whole bunch of people with me. But the Porsche it's a hard car to get used to. What's been your way of kind of mastering it?
Just practice. I mean, the Porsches, I describe the Porsche as a moody car that demands attention. You have to give it your full attention. And then, of course, the Coach Dave Academy setups. Those really took my control and stability to the next level in the Porsche. I got to give a shout out to Dave. Thank you, Coach Dave, for helping me and so many drivers with those setups. I mean, they are fantastic. You know, you gotta still tweak them a little bit to suit your driving style. They're not perfect for each driver, of course. Everybody drives a little different, but those Coach Dave Academy setups, I recommend them to everybody.
Wow, yeah, they are very, very good, and they seem to be constantly developing them as well, which is really good. Now we've got a question here from Aces Bois. He says a house reveal and saying that Vawter, hello, I am here.
Nice.
One of your fans.
That's some of the house, that's for sure. Aces actually set up my Discord for me, so shout out to Aces.
Fantastic.
Yes,
yeah, that's the thing, because I wouldn't know where to start with that. I remember I actually managed to make 2 Discord channels that were both in my name, and it was thanks to Richie who managed to figure out what I had done wrong and sort it out for me. I had no idea what I was doing. So it wouldn't let me change what my own channel was.
Wow.
But there you go. So that just shows you how much of a techie man I am.
I wouldn't have a good Discord without Aces. So thank you, Aces. I do appreciate all the hard work you've done. Thank you.
Now here we are with Rumar has said KFC helps the heart slow down.
I don't know.
Let's hope only for good reasons, you know.
I'm sure KFC would help the heart slow down.
Only when you see the way it's made. That and it was like. Now, Mike Rogers Racing has said. In fact, actually, no. I'll quickly go to Jerry NCF1. What is your favorite real world track?
Silverstone. I love Silverstone. I love that track.
What is it about Silverstone that makes it so special?
It's got a little bit of everything. It's got some nice long straights and some tricky corners. It's a forgiving track in a lot of ways. There's some good runoff areas. Unlike a track like Oulton Park, where if you go off track, you are in the grass and you are you have to be very precise. Don't get me wrong, I do love Oulton Park and Snetterton. Snetterton's one of my favorite tracks too because it's so technical. But yeah, Silverstone. I absolutely love Silverstone, and I'm pretty successful there, so that helps.
Yeah, no, that's really good to know though, because it is. I mean, I know as well when I watch some of your streams, you do this kind of last challenge that you start last and let everybody go away. And then, then you join us. What was the motivation behind all of that?
The last to not last challenge. I love doing that. The motivation behind that is to not get killed into T1 because there's so many accidents into T1. I just kind of let everyone go and let all that crashing get out of their systems and then plow on through. If I can get the top 10, I'm a happy guy.
That's fantastic. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Just quickly to let everybody know that John Vawter's Discord and also your YouTube channel is in the description. So if you've not already subbed to John Vawter's channel, then make sure you go into Vawter Racing. The link is there in the description. And also, if it's the first time you've come to our channel here, it'd be great to have you along in our community too. So you can hit that sub and like button, and let's see how far we can get, because there's a very special prize coming when we get to 500 subs. Would you like to see what that is? We'd love to see what it is.
Sure, let's see.
Let's see. This is when I realize I've got the wrong photo tiles in front of me. But no, here we go. This is the one for 500. Have a wee look at that.
Oh, nice.
So that would be coming to you if you're the 500th subscriber.
Wow, I'm gonna have to unsubscribe and try to get to the 500.
No, you can stay in there. We're going to
No.
put all the numbers in it. And then this is for 1,000. When we finally get monetized, when we actually manage to make any money, and YouTube says we can actually make some money, we're going to have this one.
Oh, that's
So that
fantastic.
could go up on your wall. So that would
That
be
is fantastic.
So I think that's back from 1991. So so there's some good prizes to inspire to simply be sub to the channel. That would be the thing. But now I will go to Mike Rogers Racing again. Do you have any long-term plans for your streams for your YouTube channel?
You know, I haven't really thought about any long-term plans. I kind of take each day as it comes, and you know, I try to stream every day and race every day and just have fun every single day. You know, so I guess a long-term plan would be to race tomorrow and have a good time doing it.
That's the thing. Now we've got some great comments here. It says here, Matt Flock says, Popeye's chicken for John Vawter.
There you go.
And Rua said, oh, wow, like the F1 drivers and their physio, Matt, because he's been actually, I think Matt has been saying Popeye's chicken for y'all. And then now what was it? Matt Fox said, I did the first time I used it, but it became a really useful tool for actually helping to stay calm under pressure. Oh, yeah, he had a heart monitor.
Oh.
So Matt Fox was saying he had a heart monitor, and he found it stressful, but wanted to know how much. And sometimes it would be a really racing, you know, it'd actually be really, really faster than actual driving. So it would be all because, of course, when you see the heart monitors on F1 drivers, it's incredible some of the speed that they can get up to, but also how relaxed they are on the grid, which is astonishing when you think of what they go through. So no, that's one of the things here. And Jerry NCF1 has said Snetterton is my local track. Good on you for liking it.
Oh, I love Snetterton. It's so technical and so hard. You have to be perfect on that track or you get punished so big on that track. I mean, if you go off, you're in the grass. And once you get in the grass, you are sliding through. There's nothing that you can do to stop it. You have to be perfect. And I love that challenge at Snetterton. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's quite a track. I'm trying to think if I've been there. I know I've been to Oulton Park before. But Snetterton, I'll have to look out exactly where that is down south. Because I'm in the northeast of England, so I'll need to find out where that is and see if I can get along. Now, and another question from Aces Bois, if that's how you pronounce it. Is it? All right, sorry, I was sounding it like it was French. I thought it was French. That he says, and I'm sure in a complimentary way, what's your thoughts on being the worst Porsche driver?
Just try to improve every day, Aces. Well, all I can do is try to get better.
You know. Now, does Aces race with you? Does he sometimes race with you in your league?
Aces has raced with us a few times, but he has a problem with his safety rating, so he can't get into a lot of the lobbies that I race in. So, you know, you got to bump them numbers up, Aces. Come on, buddy.
He sounds like he's like me with the way I drive. Although I finally managed to get it to 87, but that's as far as I've been able to get. So it's not too bad, but we're getting there. But now Richie Johnson has asked, what has been the standout moment for you? Wrong one. Sorry, it keeps moving. So many comments, I can barely keep up with them. What has been the standout moment for you on track so far?
Standout moment on track. Boy, that's a good question. I'm not sure about a standout moment on track. I've had a lot of close battles and some tooth and nail battles and some really photo finish victories, and there's been a lot of good times on track. As far as a standout moment though would have been when one of my favorite streamers came to my stream, Dalkin.
Yes,
yeah. I love Dalkin. I try to never miss any of his streams, and he came to one of my streams one day and was chatting with me. I mean, I could barely race.
Wow!
I just couldn't believe it.
I'm trying to get in touch with Dalkin. I think I'm hoping he might be a guest on the show.
Oh,
do. But
that would be a fantastic interview. I really like his driving style, his streaming style, and he just seems like such a good, genuine guy. I would love to hang out with him sometime.
yeah, you do find that in the sim racing community that a lot. I think it's because many of us know that there's no way we could afford to race for real. So
Yeah,
we're making the best of what we've got in this, and we're just real fun racers, and we love motorsport and trying. And this has kind of got us back into motorsport because it's not
sure.
just watching it. Here you can actually take part
Yeah,
and have fun, isn't it? And
it is fantastic.
it's quite liberating in a way of
It
being able
is.
to race behind a fake wheel and pedals, and a computer. But it makes it work. It makes it work. Now we've got fantastic questions coming up. Thank you very much for everyone who's putting their questions here and watching, because these are really, really good questions. So we will go to Matt Fox. He says you can have one actual proper driver to do one lap to save your life. Who have you got?
You have one actual proper driver to do one lap to save your life. Who do you got? Oh, that's a tough question, Matt. I don't know. Um, I mean,
Oh,
my hero was Ayrton Senna.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I would have him if it could be possible. Um, another hero of mine was Michael Schumacher.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I absolutely love them guys.
I used to. I mean, that's when I started watching Formula One in the kind of very, very late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
And I used to buy all the Senna videos and Mansell
Oh yeah.
videos and all of that. But Senna's videos were still. I mean, Mansell was always interesting, but Senna was a cut above because he
Yeah.
was quite a spiritual man and he had a
Yeah.
very temperament as well, and he would answer questions that other people wouldn't.
Sure.
And he always had time for people. It seemed certainly on the videos. But yeah, an amazing chap. I remember there was a question asked to him, and he's sitting there in his kind of shorts and his t-shirt in Brazil with in his house over there, and the presenter said, "Would you ever drive a race like a qualifying lap?" And he said yes. So he took his time to think about it, and then he came back and said, "Yes, you could do that, and I've probably done it on a few occasions when I've been trying to catch up and things like that." But it was the stuff that he gave you was just. I've always looked on YouTube everywhere to try and find any video that hadn't been seen before. And there's a few amazing videos and documentaries that Senna did that have only just been
Yeah.
released in the last year or two by people who were close to him, and they're well worth watching because he was almost a mystical man.
Yeah.
Actually, the way that he drove and as Murray Walker said, when Senna came into the room, everybody stopped. Everybody awaited some gem of wisdom, or
It's
something.
fantastic.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think that would be an amazing chap to drive your car. Now, here is a new question by a new member in the
Andy.
chat. Yeah, Z Lonely Andy. Is that right?
Yes.
So I
Yes.
sound like Borat there trying to pronounce it. If you had to change a car, what car would you pick and why?
Wow. If I had to change car, what car would I pick and why? That's a great question, Andy. Um, I would probably choose. I'd probably choose the McLaren.
Yeah,
I'd probably go with the McLaren. It's a stable car, so I would probably choose the stability of the McLaren.
some of the complete opposites of what you have
Sure.
now with the Porsche. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yes.
Where the back end wants to overtake the front. That's quite a thing because it is, as you say, so it's stable and it's good. Now, Stefan Buckley has said, "Racing John is fun and interesting." That could be revealing a whole number of different topics in that. But I remember being in one of your races and it was pretty good fun actually. I'm sure it was at Brands Hatch and we had a great time
Sure.
racing away, and it was pretty close.
Such a great track.
Now it's now Ace's boy is saying he's saying the McLaren just to wind him up. So
Nice.
now Mike Rogers Racing asks, do you have any league or endurance races coming up?
Oh yes, I did want to talk about that. I am a member and admin over at Grey Wolf Racing. Our league races are getting ready to start in September. We have expanded this season to three league races a week. On Tuesday nights, we will be having the 2x20 sprint series, so 2 20-minute races. And then every other Thursday is our endurance races. That's going to be 90 minutes. And then every Sunday is what I'm calling the Classic League race. It's a 45-minute race with one pit stop. You can look us up. We are on Facebook, Grey Wolf Racing, and also simracing.gp to sign up for the races.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, we moved to simracing.gp this season. It is fantastic. They keep all the stats, all the points. I mean, there's no more fiddling with spreadsheets and stuff. So, I mean, Barry Evans is the master of ceremonies, the creator of the league. He's in the chat. Thank you, Barry. Yeah. Hello to you. So yeah, no more spreadsheets and no more any of that business. Simracing.gp does it all for you. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, it's good to see. So anyone who's looking to join you, they can go to those channels and they can get that, and then they can sign up. And I have to say, it's great to see, because you tend to go. I mean, normally when I watch you racing, you're on the sim grid or one of these just standard lobbies, and normally it's 25 cars or more in a race, so you've got plenty of people to keep you busy. Sure. And it always, you seem to just drive past people quite easily. So yeah, no, it's good to watch, good to see how you do it, because you're very quick as well. I know you'll be very coy about this, but you do very good lap times. What are your tips for doing a good lap time?
I tend to lean towards being safe first. I look for a clean lap first. I go out with the mindset that I'm not actually racing against anybody. There could be a lobby of 30 people in there, and I'm not racing against any of those drivers. I'm racing with those guys. We're racing the track. So I race the track, and I try not to ever touch another driver. I try not to be touched, so I'm very, very much watching my rear view mirror and my proximity meter. But, I think a safe, clean lap leads to faster laps. So if you can go out and be safe and clean, you will become faster.
Yeah. I know that's a good tip. I always remember people saying and accelerate nice and early when there's a long straight, because a lot of people, the temptation is to brake very late into like a big hairpin and then be slow out of it in there, because as a natural result. But if you've got a long straight or we're going on to a long bit, you need to be quick out of it so you can maximize your speed, which is
absolutely slow in, fast out for the win.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. But now we've got a few folk who are heading out. Well, Keith has been in, but he's had to head out. I'm not sure about Mike Rogers as well, but we'll see how he is all going. Let me go over some of the details here. We've got simracing.gp with Richie has put that in the comments there. So
nice. Thank you, Richie.
That is great. Now, and Aces Voix has said, thoughts on my amazing spelling. That
yes. Aces is an amazing speller with his very expensive keyboard. I mean, his keyboard costs more than some racing wheels, and
Oh, well, that's and Mike has said he hasn't gone anywhere. Now, Mike insulted me earlier. I'm looking for this. There he is. Here we are. Look what he's saying. Look what he's saying. I love hearing Hugh butcher everybody's names, and he still can't pronounce competizione.
There you go. That was perfect. Yeah, that was perfect.
I just do it to wind Mike up, but it was still.
Don't worry about it, Hugh. I do it all the time when I'm streaming and people come in and I'm trying to race and I'm trying to figure out what their name is, and most of the time I'm like, I don't even want to try. I'm just going to offend somebody. So thanks for the follow or whatever.
Oh, it's funny. I used to do what they call the franglais, you see. So you would pronounce French in a very English manner. So that's why you say competition. It's of course a competition. It's just Italian. That's all. So nice. It drives Drew up the wall. But so here we go. Right, let's get back to the questions. Now, Jerry, NCF1, has said that side of Senna was very impressive. It was a switch that got turned on in his head sometimes. For example, when he ran Prost off Suzuka in 1990, because he knew he was wrong. He knew he was, well, he was put on the wrong side of the grid. And the Balestra favoured Prost and favoured the French, favoured that. And, I'm not saying an excuse to do it, but, you can see why. And it was such an incredible footage. And I remember Murray Walker, when the two of them went off, Prost gets away well, but Senna comes alongside and Senna's looking for his opportunity and off. There they go, both of them off, and that's it. And and it was you kind of sensed something was going to happen at that race. Yeah. It was inevitable that they were going to do it. But what an incredible F1 moment. That Mike Rogers says, for a moment there, I thought we were actually in Italy. You see, I can convince anyone. I should have been a car dealer. No, I really should have been. A car salesman. You don't need a test drive. It's fine. But now, Rumar has asked me, he said, are you going to stop doing the pit maneuver to people now that John has told you the secret?
You.
Well, I was going to say, John, if you want me to race in your series, then you better be prepared, because it was like, you might need to look at more than just your mirrors. But I tend to terrify people when I come up behind them because they think I'm going to crash into them. That's the thing. Oh, we've got Jack Balding Racing in the chat here tonight. Now, Jack is one of the fastest guys in Europe. In fact, on GT Sport, the last time we were catching up with him, he got the 6th fastest time on the leaderboard. So that was pretty good. So yeah, on GT Sport, he is a master of that. And he also does go-karting. So it's always great to have Jack here in the chat. So now we're going to go back into a little bit of your history now, John. It's almost like this is your life. And this is the thing. So what would you say are your kind of biggest influences, even in motorsport, that fired you up to race sims?
Oh, my biggest influences, Senna, Schumacher. Those guys were huge to me. I mean, I remember, sometimes here in America, the Formula One races would start, at 4:00 in the morning. And I would make sure to set an alarm to get up so I could watch those races live. I absolutely idolize those guys. So, and over here in the States, the whole Unser family, that was a great era. Harry Gant, the Skull Bandit for NASCAR. I mean, those guys were heroes to me growing up.
Yeah. It's I think that's the thing about motorsport. I mean, I was watching a video with my children about Daytona, and it was like, because we go to Orlando every so often, and a family had gone to the Daytona. I don't know if it was the 500, but it was like one of the big races that they have, and it was packed full of people. There was crashes, and V8 sounded incredible on these NASCAR cars, and it was so loud, and they all have their ear protectors on. But it's such an experience, and I think that's what does it in motorsport. And maybe when you play a Assetto Corsa competition there. I'm not going to be able to not do that now. The sound, it's like when you're driving the Bentley or the Mercedes or even the Aston Martin
or the Porsche
in your ear it's incredible, isn't it? It just sounds, and it's so realistic, because I went to the Blancpain Championship a couple of years ago and saw David Perel racing his Ferrari, and when I had a really great shot from it, was the Renault camp that had put me up there, so I could see them coming into the complex, and the Audis, the Porsches, the Ferraris, they're really loud. They're proper racing cars. So it's actually far more realistic, and you get this amazing noise. So is that one of the big motivations in playing PC, that you just get more of a real surround kind of gaming experience?
Oh, absolutely. Before I got my PC, when I first started, doing Assetto Corsa Competizione, I was playing on my Playseat Challenge, and I used to set it up in front of my, before I had my rig and everything, I used to set it up in front of my TV, and we have this Dolby Atmos surround system. It's like a 9.2.4 or something like that. It's just got speakers everywhere. And man, that was incredible sounding, Yeah, I think my wife was happy when I switched over to headphones though, because it would shake the windows, man. I mean, it was awesome.
At least when you get the Jehovah's Witnesses coming to your door, they're asking you to take, because they're like, what's going on in there? They'd run a mile. But that's the thing. That no, it is an amazing experience what you get with these games, and it's enthralling. You can just spend hour after hour trying to do it. Now Ace says, what about the Bentley? That's a great car as well, isn't it? That's a fantastic sound that one makes.
Yeah, it's a great car. It's a great car. It's a front engine car, so the Bentley, you can really eat those curbs, man. I've seen those Bentley drivers just go over curbs like crazy that I could never even touch on the Porsche. So I'm a little envious sometimes of those Bentley drivers.
Yeah, that's what Thea was driving last night, and I was driving the Mercedes AMG. But yeah, they did seem to be able to take the curbs quite well.
Man,
that was the thing. That now we'll go to a sensible question here from Jerry NCF1. Why do you think F1 struggles to take off across the pond?
That's a good question. I have no idea. Maybe it's the money involved. Maybe it's too technical for some people. I don't know. Man, I remember coming across F1 as a little kid. I mean, like, man, now this is real racing here. These guys are serious racers. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why it doesn't take off over here.
I mean, to be fair, I think it has done better. I think the track in Austin is really good. I think that Texas seems to be always quite a big pool because it looks like a great track and always quite close races as well. Seems to work quite well. I'm not so sure about the one in Miami. I think that Miami is maybe glamour over actual substance with that one. I'm not sure if the track is going to be fantastic. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. I know that Lewis Hamilton seemed to think it was a very good idea.
Just so sad about the track in my home state in Indianapolis. I mean, it's so sad. I mean, it could have been so good. And
it was the hairpins that always used to catch people out, wasn't it? I remember Jack Villeneuve saying these hairpins were too tight and it wasn't much of a circuit because of that. If they maybe made a few S bends or something a bit more, it could have made it a bit more exciting. But
could have been good.
Yeah, I know that's the thing. Now, here's a good question from Rumar. Does John use the same barber as me?
I think I do. I do. Yes, I have no hair. And Mike Rogers as well. I think we all use the same barber.
That's possibly true. That is possibly true. That now here's a sensible question from Zalone Andy. I don't know. I don't think I pronounced that properly at all. I do apologize. But how do you feel about your first endurance with driver swap this Saturday?
Oh, that's right. I'm doing my first endurance race, 8 hours of Monza this Saturday with a really good friend of mine, a great racer, Brooker Gaming. Look him up online. We'll both be streaming that whole race.
Oh, yeah.
We've been doing a lot of practice, fuel testing and tire testing and setup tweaking. And Brooker went out and qualified top 10, which got us into the Super Pole, qualified in P8 for the 8 hours of Monza. So I'm really excited for that race. Very excited.
No, that is good. That's going to be fun. And certainly we'll see if we can get that, or send us a link and we'll put that on our Discord as well. Feel free to put your stream.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
So we can see that in our Discord, and hopefully we'll get some of our guys watching that too. Now we've got some hair related questions. That's all I can say.
Nice.
Is from what shampoo do you use?
Suave.
But yeah. So here we are. And Mike Rogers says F1 cars, they turn right. Americans get confused about that. Oh. You'll be making enemies across the pond.
Oh, it's true. Like it's true.
Now, Rue has said they'll get robbed in Miami anyway. I like the Indy track idea. I'm sure it's not that dangerous. But, although I do remember saying, a tourist guide saying, whatever you do, do not go off the beaten track in Miami. Stay on the main kind of shopping areas or the beach.
Sure.
Because if you go out with that, that's where all the drugs come into the country, is through Miami, isn't it? And
A lot of it, yeah, a lot of it is, and through Texas.
That so no, that's the thing. But on a more happier note, let's get back to some of our questions here. And we've got In Exile all the way from New Zealand. It's good to see you.
In Exile.
It's good to see you. And Mike Rogers has said that you've done millions of laps at Monza this week, especially trying to avoid getting punted at turn 1.
Yes.
So it's
A lot of laps. My safety rating was actually down to 96 at one point from racing at Monza this week in the public lobbies. 96.
Wow.
I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it, Hugh.
Now, In Exile has said that he's a big Vawter racing fan, which is great. So that's really good to hear.
Yeah, I've been watching In Exile. He was racing when I first came across his channel. He was racing GT Sport, and I was racing GT Sport at the time, and he switched over to iRacing.
All right, yeah.
So that was very interesting to me. I almost never miss one of his live streams now when he's doing the iRacing. Last night he did a GT Sport, which was fantastic. It was nice to see that again, but I've been really enjoying his journey on iRacing. You can check out his channel, In Exile.
Yeah. He's been on our show. In Exile was on our show.
Fantastic.
The early ones last year. We need to get him back on because we also did it with Fat Furby. He do the Simcast, or the Simcators podcast. And they're very, very good. So we need to get them back on and get another show on board. They're very, very good and very fast, incredibly quick.
Yes.
In Exile does is he was doing his lap records and showing people how to do a very quick lap.
Very good.
Which is the thing. Now, Barry Evans has asked a question. He says, do you remember who beat you at Spa last night?
I do, Barry.
Barry, this is your moment of fame. You know, this is it.
Barry finished right in front of me at Spa last night.
Congratulations,
Barry.
Olav is also in the chat. It's good to see you, Olav. Now, we also have from Aces Bois thoughts on Lorenzo CSR.
Man, I miss Lorenzo. Where's Lorenzo been? I know he's got a lot going on. But yeah, Lorenzo Hawk, Challenger, Sim Racing, another guy I used to watch all the time, became friends with. Yeah, I miss him.
Yeah, it's great. The community is something else, isn't it? It's so nice. And I mean, we've got so many people that we've interviewed over the last year, trying to keep up with them all on Discord and all of this is quite tough. So I try and go into them when I can to kind of round it all up and see how it all goes, which is always good. But what do you think? Because Formula One is back this weekend, the racing in Spa. Do you think who's going to win the championship this year? Do you think it's going to be Hill? Hill, for goodness sake. Well, that's 20 years ago or more. 25 years ago, just about. And do you think it's going to be Hamilton or Verstappen?
I haven't really watched a lot of Formula One in the last years. But if I had to make a choice based on what I know, it's going to be Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, you just wonder because he managed to get it back, didn't he, just before the break, and just by a fraction. And I just wonder if he'll just keep it. If Mercedes will have done enough over these next few races to maybe just eat out a wee bit of a lead. But yeah, that would be the thing. Now here's a question from Rue. It says, "Does John like a little oversteer or prefer understeer?"
Well, the Porsche has a huge amount of oversteer, so I'm always fighting to get that oversteer out. So if I could get a little understeer in the Porsche, that would be ideal.
That's the thing. And now Ace's boy said, thoughts on Barry beating you in a Bentley. Says the Porsche is really bad.
I thought about it for about 2 seconds and then wiped it from my memory.
that's the thing. And now it's Jerry has said that he's backing Bottas for the title.
Okay.
And Excel said that's an outside punt, Jerry, for that one. But that's an interesting thing, though, because I was thinking, in my ways of making money, making a fast buck, a bit like Homer Simpson in that way, always looking to try and make a fast buck. The amount of times in the last few years where drivers who were not expected to win ended up winning. For example, it was like Pierre Gasly last year or 2 years ago at Monza, and then of course you had Ocon, and you kind of think, is it almost worth looking every year at the drivers who you think that's going to be a struggle to win, and putting on a $5 or a $10, because the potential that if they win, you get $500 or $1,000 back because of the kind of crazy bets against them.
Sure,
it might just work. What do you reckon?
It might work. You never know.
Or who do you think? Well, I suppose you don't follow F1 as much, but do you think is there a driver out there that you think might win who's not in a great car just now?
I don't know. I think Hamilton's going to win.
Yeah. I wonder if there'll be any other little surprises along the way in terms of other kind of unique races that might happen. I remember a few years ago at Singapore. It was back in 2017 or 2018. And my brother happened to be on a business trip, and he sends me a text, and I'm just about to finish my shift and head back to watch the race. And he says, "Oh, guess where I am?" And I said, "Oh, where?" Because he's normally based in Hong Kong. And he said, "Oh, I'm in Singapore on a business trip, and I'm looking at my hotel window, and all I can see are the cars getting ready."
Oh, I said, my gosh!
Lucky git.
No kidding. That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and he said, "Is it worth my time leaving my hotel room and going to watch the race?" Because he could literally walk down and watch it. And I said, "Yes." Because it was the year when it rained, and Vettel and Verstappen crashed. Or Vettel and Raikkonen and the whole lot, they took each other off at the first corner in this amazing wet race, and Hamilton came round to lead the race. And I said, and so he saw one of the best Singapore Grand Prix ever, and probably one of the classic GP. So he was quite happy that he bothered to get out of his chair and wander down to the track.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Now, Jerry F1 has said to, "I love how Hugh has left your Miami comment on screen." All right. Oh, I didn't realize I'd done that, actually. I'll quickly go in. And I'll go and take that one back off. There you go.
There we go.
So now we can get another question. Now, Mike Rogers Racing has said, "What do you think ACC could improve, and what are your thoughts on their big announcement tomorrow?"
I have no idea what their announcement's going to be. I've heard so many rumors. The rumor that I've heard the most is going to be about some mobile game or something, which I'm completely not interested in. That would, I don't know what that would be about, but what could they improve? More cars, more tracks. Cars and tracks. I mean, we need more cars, more tracks, maybe a different series of cars, and definitely expand the tracks. Definitely expand the tracks, and fix the pit wall at Zandvoort. It goes all the way down into the corner now, and it'd be nice to have that in the game.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That now here's a good question for you. Not that one. No, how did you? It keeps moving all the time. The Lonely Andy says, "How did you come across Barry's racing community, and what's so special about it?"
Okay, I found that community on Grid Finder. And I was looking for leagues to join, and I found that one on Grid Finder. And like you were saying, a lot of the leagues at the time, they had Discord and stuff, and I didn't know what Discord was. I didn't want to mess around with Discord. I didn't know what it was, but they had a Facebook page. So I went to their Facebook page, and they had all the events there, and the season was getting ready to start. And, I introduced myself, and Barry was very, very kind. Andy was very kind. They were great on track. The the first race was great. I actually won my first race with the league. I won the first season with that league.
Wow.
So I was just impressed with the driving and the community, the camaraderie with everyone. Everybody's really active and encouraging everyone, and we race together at Grey Wolf. We race together, and I love that about racing. I would rather race with people than race against someone any day.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a lovely thing about the communities, isn't it? That you get used to the people involved,
Yeah.
and it's so nice, and you can have a good battle with them.
Yes.
And it is good fun. And Mike has said that the league is special because you're in it, Andy. So you must be replying
Yes.
to.
And Andy's a great guy. He's a great friend.
Yeah, but no, it is so good to have these communities, and it really makes something, because you're not just racing against people you don't know. You do get to know them, and you know their driving styles and how defensive they
Yes.
might be, and you kind of keep a little kind of record of if you've beaten them or not, a little bits here mentally of
Sure.
who you're trying to beat, who you want to
Sure.
try and make sure you finish ahead of, and all that kind of thing. But and it is
Absolutely.
good fun. And maybe
It,
that's one of the. Sorry, carry
it's
on.
it's really nice to know the people that you're racing with, because you can build trust with them, and they can build trust with you, and that just leads to closer, faster racing. When you don't trust the guy behind you, or he doesn't trust the guy behind him,
Mm,
you just can't really go for it like you can when you have full trust. Like if Andy's behind me or if I'm behind Andy, we know that we can completely trust each other. We're not going to touch each other, and we're going to race each other hard to the line, and it's going to be a
yeah,
good, clean race. And it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just so awesome when it's like that.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, what do you think of? Because there has been, in fact, there was a SimGrid post that was put out by Josh Martin yesterday, showing cars all over the track and all sorts of problems. How do you handle a race when you think, oh my goodness, there's a lot of people in here that are pretty reckless? What's your approach to that?
I start at the back.
Yeah.
Yep, I start at the back, and let the knuckleheads do what the knuckleheads are going to do, and then race on from there.
Now we've got Lippy Racing with us as
Oh,
well.
nice.
He's always good. Good when you know that he must be in the goodness knows what hour of day it is over where in Australia is. I think they're about 9 hours ahead.
Right.
But no, that's the thing. In fact, Brooker has just said SimGrid is ridiculous. Obviously, they
Yeah.
must be going through. I think probably going through the same thing as what happened in GT Sport, because for a while GT Sport was banned, and it still is in the lower lobbies. It's kind of crazy. It's a lot of fun. I started a new PSN quite recently just to have a go and build up again through the field. And now I'm a B and S driver on that. But even in that, because it's quite a low lobby, it's still people go for crazy
Yeah.
moves.
Yeah, it's
So your
nuts.
racecraft has to be quite good to try and avoid them.
Yeah.
But it's good fun. Now, Barry Evans has asked, who is the hardest person to overtake in your community?
That's a good question. I mean, on any given day, on any given track, anyone could be, hard to overtake. It just depends. I mean, I can't single out anyone at this point. They're all very, very good racers, very competitive.
Well, and on that note, Mike Rogers has said, I like being called a knucklehead. Although
I had some great races with Mike just yesterday. Those were a lot of fun.
yeah, Mike is really good. I've worked with him on projects before, and he's very, very good. Knows his stuff about GT sport and sim racing. And was also on my show earlier on last year. It was a great guest as well. So no, it was really good.
I had to
But
watch that show. It was good.
yeah, and I was going to say, and what would you like to say? Now that many of your community are watching tonight, do you have any special message for them?
I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. It's fantastic that you all came and asked me so many fun questions. I appreciate that, and I absolutely enjoy racing with all you guys. It's absolute pleasure. You make the racing so fun. You make my streams so fun. You guys come in and chat when I'm streaming, and it is an absolute riot. We have a blast. I do want to say that I do want to thank my beautiful wife. We've been together since 1993. She is my
Uh-huh.
absolute biggest fan. She is my angel, And none of this would be possible without her. So thank you, my lovely wife, Thea. Thank you so much for everything.
It's fantastic. No, it's really good. And for everyone watching, if you've not already seen one of Vawter's streaming sessions, they are really, really good. And they are throughout the day at different times. So there's a good chance you'll be able to catch one. And they're great fun. And hopefully we can come along and race with you as well on ACC again in the near future. Because it's really good. In fact, Loopy Racing is saying a shout out to Police Radio. Because that was the thing. I saw that. I thought, what on earth? Police Radio, and he's driving away racing cars and people are talking to him and he's talking about, and then I heard this woman's voice in the background talking about numbers or something, and I thought, what on earth is all that? And of course I realized after it that it must be she's calling out a 911 or whatever it is, or officer down, or all the rest of it, or all the chaos that's going on out there, or a cat stuck in a tree going out. But then you know something's seriously wrong. But yeah, so no, it's quite a thing. So you just listen to the radio and see what's going on in your community.
Yes, I always tell people ask me why I have the police radio on, and I say, well, because I want to know what's going on in my town. If you want to know what's going on in your town, you listen to the police radio, because you'll hear things on there they will not publish in the newspaper and they will not show you on the news.
That's the thing, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
So when you're not racing, you'll dip into your bunker and you can be ready for anything.
Yes.
What's the thing? Mike Rogers Racing is saying, I know more about the crime rate in South Bend than he does at home.
Right. It's South Bend's a college town, so we get some craziness going on. So Scanner can be very interesting sometimes.
At least it's not Portland, Oregon, because then it's mad in there. That would be that. I've heard crazy stories coming from there. But I have to say, it's an incredibly unique channel kind of thing to have on it, because nobody else listens to the police as they're driving. And it's that idea that you're in a car chase and they're saying, we're going to catch him before he gets to the interstate.
Right.
He's in a Porsche 911 and racing hard. And so it's the thing. But so what I suppose, what was the motivation as well behind that? Other than that, we just wanted to know what was happening. But did you suddenly have a light bulb moment and you think, oh, I'll listen to that?
Right. I've always owned a police scanner here in the house. So we do listen to the police scanner quite regularly, have it on in the background and whatnot. But I realized that on Broadcastify that they're broadcasting the police scanner over the internet.
Wow.
So I thought, well, hell, I might as well listen to that while I'm racing, because I had my headphones on. I can't hear the scanner. But if I put it on Broadcastify, I can listen to the scanner while I race. It was serendipity.
That's fantastic. Just as long as they don't pronounce your street. And while you're racing, and it gets closer and closer to where you live. It was like, you might be a bit worried about that. Now, I noticed there's a few comments about we're going to get different people on the show, which is great. Next week, it's the last week of the school holidays for the kids, so it's going to be a wee break just for the Thursday. But in 2 weeks' time, we've got Callum McIntyre on the 9th of September, who's on Keirith's. He does a lot of racing with Keirith Kart. And then on the 16th, we've got the Key 25. That's right. We've got Kieran.
Nice.
So make sure, hope and pray that he comes on, because it's very tricky for him with shifts and things that his partner does. But hopefully, he said he can do it. So hopefully he'll be able to do it for the 16th. And on the 23rd, we have got Matt Fox.
Matt Fox.
That's right.
Nice.
That's me not writing this down. This is my memory tested late at night on a Thursday. And then after that, we will have to see. But it's going to be a great autumn coming in as guests. But can I say, John, you have been an absolute pleasure to be on the show and to talk to tonight. It's been absolutely fantastic. And for everybody in the chat who's been watching, if you're a sim racer and you think, I want to be on that show, then speak to Richie. Come on to our Discord. The links are all in the description. And we'll make sure that we get a slot in for you, so we can interview you and ask all the crazy questions that you've seen tonight. Nice. And of course, if you subscribe, you'll never miss a show. And we've got all the big races as well. We've got the Super GTs, we've got the Tidgeneys, the K25s, the Rory Alexanders, you name it, we've got it there. So make sure you look in our back catalogue. Erid, Erid is there. Erid's in the chat tonight.
Nice.
I had a very close battle with Erid yesterday. Erid is very, very good. And we're always neck and neck, just about. I try and spring a surprise and see if I can catch him out in the race. So it's good to see you, Erid. And to everyone who has been watching tonight, you've been watching the Car Sim and Race Driver Show with me, Hugh Hattrick, but my very special guest, John Vawter. And you can end the show, John, by saying our phrase.
Can I say my phrase before your phrase?
Of course you can.
You say your phrase, I'll say my phrase. How about that?
Drive fast and try not to crash. And if you do, you might just take out Erid at the first corner.
And always remember, each day is a gift. Enjoy it. You'll never know how many of these gifts you're going to get. And race on, my friends. Race on.
Fantastic. Stay on the line, John. Thanks to everyone who's been watching. Take care, and we'll see you very soon. Bye just now.